He's hit the road for the final time in 2015. First stop, Southern California, to take on the red-hot Angels of Anaheim. Mike Trout and Albert Pujols are having a September to remember, and the 16 wins this month have the Halos climbing the standings, seeking a postseason berth. The A's want to finish strong, and disrupting the pennant chase of the Angels would be the perfect motivation to forget about a disappointing season. It's the Angels and the Athletics with plenty on the line. Game 1 is next. Final road trip of the season for the A's, and it starts at the Big A in Anaheim. It's the first of a 3-game set. Very important series for the Angels. It's the A's and the Angels, and it's coming up on CSN California. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Oakland A's Baseball. Along with Ray Fosse, I'm Glenn Kuiper. So for the Angels, this is a huge series. They got 7 games left, Ray, and they're playing well at the right time, even though they're still out of the playoffs looking in, but they got a chance to get in this week.
You know, you think about the beginning of the season, the Angels probably were favored to win the American League West, maybe with the Seattle Mariners, but it's taken them 5 months. But look what they've done in the month of September. 16-8, just 3 games behind the Rangers. They'll have 4 games against them this weekend. Second in the wild card, actually a half game behind the second wild card. So they've done everything. Mike Trout, you know he's doing the job. But how about C.J. Cron? He is playing first base. Albert Pujols gets a chance to DH. These guys are starting to play good baseball. They've lost their closer. Houston Street's out for a while, so they'll mix and match. But Mike Scioscia will play for the division, settle for the wild card if that's what it's going to be.
Speaking of the month of September, it's been a very good one for Billy Butler, Ray. He has struggled this year, but September coming around, starting to drive the ball the other way, and that's what Billy Butler does when he's going well.
And you know, the one thing he has said, he's been working with Darren Bush. They've been working on some things in the batting cage. It took a little bit longer, but in the month of September, all of those things are really panning out for Billy Butler. The opposite field stroke is there. We've always seen that with Kansas City, now with the Athletics. 6 home runs in this month of September. And how about this shot down the left field line at the Coliseum? Almost knocked down the foul pole. But he's using the whole field. He's doing exactly what he had hoped to do in the first 5 months. It's taken those 5 months, but at least he's finishing strongly. And let's hope it carries over to next year.
The pitching matchup tonight, a pair of lefties. Felix Dubron for the Athletics and Hector Santiago will pitch for the Angels. So indeed, a very important series for the Angels. A's will try to spoil their fun. We'll have lineups in first pitch when we come back to Southern California. Taste the Homestyle Ranch Chicken Club today, only at Jack in the Box. And by Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places. It's a beautiful night for baseball at Angels Stadium of Anaheim. First of three for the A's and the Angels. Crowd filing in, and they will settle in, and we'll get this baby going. Game time weather for tonight presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Get to the beach. The admission-free boardwalk is open. This weekend it's 79 degrees, so it's cooled off nicely. It was very warm and very humid today. But a nice night, and the Angels in their all-white uniforms, the A's with the green tops and the gray pants. And here's the lineup tonight for your Athletics. Burns, Canna, Laurie, Valencia, Butler, Smolinski, Simeon, Gentry, and Brian Anderson gets the start behind the dish.
A rematch from August the 31st at the Coliseum. Santiago started for the Angels and pitched well until he lost his control. Just turned out to be sort of a night. Oh, I forgot. Billy Burns was hitting.
Yeah, you can't really get into a story, Ray, when Billy's out.
I forgot. So is that hit number what on the first pitch again?
It's just a lot. Let's just say it's just a lot. Defensively for the Angels, Shane Victorino's in left, Mike Trout in center, Cole Calhoun in right, and then it's Freese, Ibar, Giovatello, and Crone on the infield, and Iannetta is your catcher. Albert Pujols will DH tonight. So one pitch, and the A's have a base runner, and here's Mark Canna. First pitch to Canna is a fastball in first strike. So Billy Burns, his 56th first pitch hit, tied for most in the majors.
Still
not a surprise. Jose Altuve's
right there with it. Both leadoff hitters, or at least Altuve with Springer leading off now. Altuve hitting second, but the prototypical leadoff hitter seeing a lot of pitches, just not something that Altuve nor Billy Burns for sure would even consider.
So 0-1 to Canna, hitting .254 with 15 home runs and 68 RBIs. Inside, and it hit him. So 3 pitches in the game. The A's have 2 on and nobody out.
Well, it's one of those that's just barely touching Mark Canna. Just got him in the back elbow. Check the right elbow, or maybe the front, that pad that extended down. I don't know if he even felt it, but home plate umpire Mark Carlson heard it and awarded him first base.
So Santiago, early trouble as Laurie steps in. Umpires tonight, Mark Carlson, Tripp Gibson, Chris Guccione, and Brian Gorman. And that is Brian Gorman. He's at third, and he's your crew chief. So Laurie steps in at .264, 16 home runs, 58 RBIs, and he bounces one slowly to short. Ibar out at second. Giovatelli the turn, safe at first. Canna going in hard at second base and did a good job of disrupting Giovatelli just a little bit anyways. And of course Laurie with the good speed.
Not as hard as Brett Laurie runs, and the ball not hit crisply enough perhaps for even to be as close as it turned out to be, but good turn by Giovatelli. That was important after getting a good feed from Ibar at shortstop. Did not flip it underhand, overhand to get a little bit extra on the throw to make it easier for Giovatelli. Brett Laurie, that's one thing he always does. Runs hard.
So RBI opportunity for Valencia. First pitch outside to Valencia.
Angels playing for 2. These are the well, said it too much. Here we are, the last week of the regular season, and still talking about runs that are there for the taking. Just a good quality at bat can result in a run.
So 1-1 the count. Valencia was hit by a pitch yesterday. Got him pretty good in that left elbow, and he had to come out of the game. So it's good to see him back in there today. 16 home runs and 61 runs batted in, his combined numbers this year. This is what happened yesterday early in the game.
Had no protection yesterday, at least if it was ever so slightly. That's actually a small little protection. Expo of the facial expression brought to you by
Yes.
a little bit thicker pad now after getting hit in the elbow.
And now the count 2-2.
Pretty good idea to think right field, because those pitches both have been outside corner, and watch the midsection of Valencia opening up, trying to reach the pitches that are outside. And we have seen him hit the ball very well to the right side, and the hole is there. Runner being held at first, second baseman, and they expected him to pull. So might as well shoot it that way, which he can do.
And this is, and we talk about this a lot too, Ray, and this, I think, a spot where you got to cut down your swing a little bit.
Absolutely, especially with 2 strikes and this at bat, and just a little bit of a delayed swing can fastball away. You'll shoot the ball to right field just naturally.
2-2 pitch, and that one lined into the A's dugout. In fact, just past the dugout and into that camera well down there. Jesse says foul ball. I don't know if the baseball he has in his hand was the actual foul ball. It is possible.
Jesse's already on the 60-day disabled list with a rib issue. We don't need anything more.
That one inside, and now it's 3-2.
I don't know that was intentional. I think it just overthrew the fastball that up into the feet of Valencia. And that outside and reaching back, and almost got him again.
So full count. See if Laurie's on the move. One away. He's not running, and Valencia lays off that high fastball, and the bases are loaded for Butler. So a hit batter, a single, a hit batter, and a walk so far after the fielder's choice.
Don't you think if Billy Butler uses his normal swing of right field and Santiago stays outside with the fastball, you'd think that would work to benefit the A's and Billy Butler.
You would think. Butler at .252 with 15 home runs. And big opportunity here. And he rolls that one foul past Ron Washington. His career numbers in this ballpark: .310, 7 home runs. Got a couple of home runs against the Angels this year, does Butler. So Burns at third, Laurie at second, Valencia at first. And that one's driven toward right center, but shallow. Trout coming in, still coming in. Trout has it. Here comes Burns. Throw to the plate, and Burns stops halfway, and now he's in a rundown. And the ball gets passed, and Burns is safe at the plate.
Wow. Oh, jeez. Wow.
It was an adventure, but somehow Burns ended up scoring. He was about 2/3 of the way home, and he just stopped and tried to get back.
And he'd been out by 10 feet.
He would have been out.
Even with the speed of Billy Burns, and then he was out going back to third. But Mike Trout, tremendous speed in center, so he's going to track it. And then on the move, makes a strong throw to Iannetta. Meanwhile, coming down the line is Burns and stop. And then the throw to third. And he drops it there and then throw him back to play. He's going to be out. He drops it there and he's safe. That's unbelievable. To have the ball drop that many times, and Burns, I see what happened there. It's got to be an error on C.J. Cron. The drop ball by Freese. Then Freese had the backup throw to Cron, and Cron just missed it. No RBI, E3. And
so no sac fly, no RBI, just an
out.
And
an out, and E3 from score.
That's right, just an out and an E3.
And a play that you do not want to replay and show kids on how to play the game of baseball, because that probably
not.
You know, and you're watching as a great replay by the guys showing that Burns actually was a little bit hesitant going back to tag.
He tagged twice.
He tagged twice, yeah. And so, you know, he should have been tagging, and he probably got caught in between thinking the ball might drop. But meanwhile, strong throw by Mike Trout. And this is the comical area right here. The ball dropped there, and then Ibar threw to the plate, and Cron had him by plenty, and he dropped the ball.
And really, maybe the first drop by Freese, it sort of speeded up the play even more and made it a more difficult play for the Angels. But still, really, two dropped throws on that play, only one error. But the A's get the run and have a 1-0 lead.
Do you know, in reality, should have been runners at second and third right now, because the ball, while that was happening, Brett Lawrie standing at second base, and I think he thought about it after the fact. You've got guys at first and second, and all of a sudden they're still first and second instead of second and third.
And it was interesting too, you saw Burns when he took off, he immediately looked to see where the throw was. 3-1 now to Smolinski.
But a play like that, with everything happening between home and third, the runner at second, get to third. I mean, they're not going to pay attention to you anyway. They're trying to get Billy Burns, who was caught in between home and third.
And that is just foul down the third baseline. So full count, and now the runners will be moving on the pitch. So kind of a crazy inning to start the final road trip, Ray.
How about that? A little bit more at stake for the Angels than the Athletics. I mean, this is a game in which the A's should be playing very relaxed baseball. Actually, this whole month should have been that way, and unfortunately, it seems like the A's pick up a win and then can't finish the series off. They end up losing 2 out of 3.
So 3-2 to Jake Smolinski. Runners go, and the pitch is way off the plate, and the bases are loaded again.
That was a surprising call of a pitch. A 3-2 changeup. I might have been thinking of the
17.5 pitches per inning, second most in the majors, and we've seen him a lot, and that is just what he does. He has a little trouble pitching deep into games because he throws so many pitches. He's pitched well against the A's, but not necessarily deep into games. He's kind of one of those guys who will give you 6 good innings with a whole bunch of pitches.
Looking back to the August the 31st, he got through the first 2 innings without 1 hit. That was a Billy Burns leadoff hit. Then retired 6 in a row. Then the 3rd inning, double, and he walked 3 in that inning. He's ended up scoring 5 runs against him.
That's right. He did just lose it,
he
like
lost
you said.
Yeah, and all 3 walks scored. Matter of fact, that was the first game all season, and it occurred on August the 31st, that the A's actually had 5 walks score in a game. A game that started by Dubron.
That one on the inside corner strike. So Simeon with a 1-1 count. He's looking for a 2-out hit. Strike 2. Little tail action on that one away from Simeon, and it caught the outside corner.
It's almost like he wanted to load the bases so he could Pitch out of the windup. Or a 3-2 change up to Smolinski. Fastball location inside. Pitch was outside. And Carlson stayed with it.
Just a little bit low. Santiago really wanted it.
Did you watch Ineta bring the ball up? Ineta, you know, they have this new statistic about framing percentages. Ineta's the top in baseball, top in the American League in framing pitches. Watch what he does on this pitch. He catches it. Look how quickly he brings it up. See that? He brought it up a good foot.
Center field. Trout on the move. Trout near the wall, and Trout tracks it down. Simeon gave it a good ride, but Trout runs down just about everything in center field. So kind of a crazy first inning, and the A's get one and lead 1-0. Angels lineup as they come to bat here in the bottom of the first. It's Ibar, Calhoun, Trout, and then Pujols, Crone, and Freeze, and then Victorino, Iannetta, and Giovatello. There's your Angels starting lineup.
Felix Lebrun beat the Angels on that 31st of August in Oakland. Recipient of a lot of runs scored by the Athletics in his last 3 starts. He has 2 losses and a no decision. That was at Houston. But he lost to the Rangers. That was a Sunday afternoon game. Lost the Rangers again on the 23rd, his last start. So trying to get the A's started on the right foot on this final road trip of this season and see if he can get the A's put up some zeros.
And defensively, Smolinski, Burns, and Gentry in the outfield for the Athletics. Valencia, Simeon, Laurie, and Canna on the infield. And Brian Anderson gets a start tonight. So, an opportunity for Anderson. And Stephen Vogt caught all 3 games against the Giants over the weekend. So Dubront kicks in the first pitch to Eric Ibar is hit high down the left field line, and it is foul. Maybe home run distance. So for Anderson, his 14th career start behind the plate, but first since 2013. That's he was with the White Sox. The A's acquired him from the Cincinnati Reds.
Spent the year at AAA and actually was on vacation. And Josh Fegley was diagnosed with a concussion symptom after being hit in the back of the head with a baseball bat.
Bunted to Dubront, who throws to first. So Ibar, who is a very good bunter, but he's retired that time, and that's out number 1.
Just think if didn't have cell phones anymore. Guys on vacation, no landline, no, you know.
Yeah, if he's out in the woods somewhere.
He probably was. But Ryan Anderson answered his phone. Next thing you know, he shows up in Houston when Josh Fegley was unable to continue the season.
So here's Calhoun. So the Angels sitting on an 81-74 record. They have won 5 in a row. They've won 8 out of 10, and they just swept Seattle. So they're playing well. And as we said in the beginning of our show, a half game behind the Astros for the second wild card, and 3 games behind the Rangers for the division. So that West with Texas, Houston, and the Angels is still up for grabs. And they had a very poor month of August, 10-19, but much better in September, 16-8. But still not in with 7 games left to play. 3 here and then 4 at Texas next weekend. So they are in the heat of a pennant race, fighting for the wild card and the division.
And that's a surprising thing because they have played meaningful games, obviously trying to get postseason. And you look at the 7 games against the A's and the Rangers, and yet their roster is so full of players that how many are going to be used?
Popped up. Shift was on, so Valencia a long run, Smolinski a long run, and Valencia can't quite get to it. So the count 1-2.
I think that ball needs to be caught. Up a long time, and Smolinski coming in. The shift was on. Not a lot of foul territory, not as much as at the Coliseum, which a little bit less.
And Valencia actually, I mean, look where he's playing. He's playing towards second base from the natural shortstop spot. Swing and a miss. Good fastball from Dupont. So 2 outs. And that brings up Mike Trout, and that brings up our true story brought to you by McDonald's. Check this play out. Saturday night, Jesus Montero, that would have been a 3-run homer. And the thing is, you watch that, I mean, it was an unbelievable play.
Yeah.
He was completely under control.
Yes, he was.
It almost looked like he had it all the way.
Yeah.
If that's possible.
And Tim Salmon, who was on the championship team of the Angels in 2002, he said, how many times do you see outfielders go simulate and try to make that play? You didn't think that's something you work on.
No, you can't. Yeah. You're not going to hang on the wall 10 times before batting practice.
But, you know, for him to do that, and just like you said, so much under control. But he had half his body over the fence. And again, Tim Salmon, who does a pre- and post-game show for the Angels, made a good point. He said, this club may look back next year to this series, or the series against the Mariners. If they happen to go to postseason, they'll look at that play because that would have been a 5-1 game with Felix on the mound. And the Mariners were swept by the Angels. So 5-1, 2-1 because of that game saver. And considering the situation, and especially with the Angels being able to beat the Mariners,
1-1 the count to Trout. Oh, yeah, and by the way, he's got 40 home runs. I don't know if I mentioned that, right?
Yeah, oh, by the way. But look, it climbs up, puts his right hand on, pushes himself even more, the upper half of his body over. So that's how high he went and how much he robbed Montero of a home run. And that look on Montero's face like, you got to be kidding.
Yeah, that's not one of those just flip your glove over the wall a little bit.
And then yesterday, Giovatella turns a single into a double in the 8th inning. And they end up winning. And Montero's playing first, has to play even with the bag because of that. And a ball shoots by.
He's fun to watch, Mike Trout.
Well, we might be looking at the MVP again. He was unanimous last year. And, you know, Donaldson's going to have a lot to say with his production. Another walk-off and final home game of the Blue Jays yesterday. His 41st home run. So it's going to be interesting. And again, the votes have to be in by Sunday, next Sunday, for all the major awards.
So full count to Trout. He's got 297, 40 homers, 88 RBIs. He's got 29 doubles, 5 triples. Cutting down on his stolen bases and not really running a lot. He's got 10 of those. Just missed outside, and he walks.
He's asking if it's outside, and evidently it was, as Brian Anderson confirmed that with the skipper. And the height was there. DeBront thought he had it, but I guess it went around the plate and was not called a strike. Definitely fooled Trout. Might have fooled the umpire. Just enough that he didn't call it, but might have gone around the plate.
So Albert Pujols steps in. Pujols, the designated hitter. He's got 37 home runs and 89 RBIs.
And Anderson did a good job blocking this ball, keeping the runner at first base and pouncing on it quickly.
Pujols with 557 career home runs. 557. Now he's sitting on a 2-0 count. He's 14th on the all-time home run list. Up next is Reggie Jackson. Reggie's got 563, so
Reggie got his 500th right here, playing for the Angels.
After Reggie Jackson, Rafael Palmeiro, and Harmon Killebrew. Albert Pujols, his contract runs through 2021, so he'll have enough time to keep the list if he stays healthy.
What do you think he's going to do on this 3-0 pitch from DuBron?
I think he's going to swing if it's where he wants it to be.
I'd say yes, he's going to be swinging. I don't think he even looked down to Gerardis Arcina.
And he chops it right back to DuBron. DuBron trots to first, flips it, side retired. So Trout with a walk, nothing else. We've played one from the Big A. It's the A's 1 and the Angels nothing. The A's leading the Angels. So Gentry to lead it off. Gentry will be followed by Anderson and Burns here in the second. Keeping an eye on the Astros and the Mariners. They are just underway. That's a 3-game series in Seattle. Astros scored a couple of runs in the top of the first. And the Mariners came back. They've scored a run in the bottom of the first, so they're still batting. It's 2-1. That's McCullers against Elias. So the Astros and all their road woes this year, and they will finish on the road.
So that Ranger score.
Yeah.
In Arlington.
Giavatello, what a play to first. Got him. Sensational play by Johnny Giovatella. He went airborne.
And for Craig Gentry, that's been kind of his season. Hit the ball, looked like he's going to have a leadoff single. Ball back into the glove of a giant diving Giovatella, and nice scoop by Cron at first base. And yeah, that's leaving your feet, and he's that type of player. And he missed a month, and the Angels very happy to get him back, especially after that type of play and what he did offensively yesterday.
So here's Brian Anderson, left-handed hitter. Numbers with Nashville this year. And now it's 2-0. Yeah, the Tigers are leading the Rangers 7-1. After 6 innings, it was a 5-run 5th inning for Detroit. So, well, that makes it a little more interesting.
It does.
That game being played down in Arlington.
For the Astros and this Angels team.
Twins won. That's a huge win for the Twins. They beat the Indians 4-2 in Cleveland. So these are updated. The Yankees lost. Astros are playing. Angels obviously playing. And the Twins have won. So the Twins just will not go away. Paul Molitor's group. I mean, shouldn't his name be thrown around in the Manager of the Year candidates? I haven't heard it a lot.
I've not heard it at all, really.
Which is a bit strange.
Jeff Bannister, of course, with the Rangers, first-year manager.
Twins now 81-75 and right there. Skied to left. Right to Victorino, who now trots in a little bit, and he's got it for the second out. So we'll keep a close eye on those scores as we're in the final week of the season. Of course, the American League wild card game will be on Tuesday. Next Tuesday. The National League wild card game will be on Wednesday.
We were talking on the bus last night coming in. Jake Arrieta pitched the Sunday night game with the Cubs. They beat the Pirates, and you figure the National League plays on Wednesday. Arrieta's 5th day would be Friday, and then the 5th day would be Wednesday. Scheduled to pitch in the play-in game, if that's the case. Of course, that division, all 3 are in, it seems. 2 wild cards and a division leader.
So 1-1 the count to Burns. A big series in the National League right now is St. Louis and Pittsburgh, and the Cardinals are leading the Pirates 3-0 in the bottom of the 9th inning. St. Louis with a 3-game lead over Pittsburgh, so that's a big series.
It's a big series also for the Cubs, because if the Cardinals beat the Pirates, that increases their lead on the division, but there's also the home field advantage for the wild card play-in game. Right now it stands with Pirates.
1-2 to Burns. Foul back. So a lot going on. Dodgers have a chance to clinch the division tonight. That's all they have to do is win 1 game in San Francisco. They start a 4-game series tonight with a magic number of 2. So they're planning a celebration, no doubt. Although I guess they had their champagne in Colorado and had a packet and send it to San Francisco. The Dodgers got swept over the weekend, so they weren't real happy about that. They're figuring to get it done at some point soon.
About that note, Brian, our great stat man just gave us. That's pretty impressive.
A little bit outside. So 2-2 the count.
Chris Iannetta just had his body move that pitch right back in the strike zone, and Mark Carlson, credit, he has to call the pitch where it crosses the plate.
Good fastball there, and Burns strikes out. So a 3-up, 3-down inning for Hector Santiago. Bottom of the second coming up. 1-0 A's lead. Now hiring baseball fans at jobs.dominoes.com. So 1-0, the A's lead, bottom of the second from Angels Stadium of Anaheim. That's out front, main entrance to this beautiful ballpark. What do we say where the big hats are?
The big
There's
heads?
2 giant Angels hats right at the main entrance. Trust me, folks, you can't miss them.
No, you can't.
When we say giant hats, we mean giant hats. Crone takes a strike. Crone, Freeze, and Victorino here in the second inning. Saw Crone early in the year, Ray, and he was really struggling, but he has had a big month of September, and really the Angels, which offense just has not been great this year. They've needed him, and he has come alive at the right time.
Back and forth AAA. And matter of fact, when A's were in Boston and the Warriors were going for the NBA championship, the A's actually saw the Nashville club playing the AAA club for the Angels. Crone was down there. I said, wait a minute, I thought he was in the big leagues, and they'd sent him down, and now he's back up and doing a great job. And the thing that he does, and kind of mentioned it openly, that allows Albert Pujols to DH and C.J. Crone to play first base, or at least we're seeing him tonight. Does not mean that Albert does not want to play first.
And he rips one to left center for a base hit. So a leadoff single for Crone. And that'll bring up Freeze.
Well, back door elevated again, and that enabled Crone to hit it back up the middle. The cut fastball that stayed up a little bit too much. Now, when you're hot, pretty much anything that is thrown, you're going to find a way to hit it.
So Dubront into the stretch with Freeze stepping in. Freeze hits it high and foul down the right field line. Freeze at 258 with 13 home runs and 53 runs batted in.
This guy's really helped the Angels as well, coming back healthy, and had some big hits. Had one in Houston when Astros had taken the lead. Freeze came up with a big hit to that left center field area, just to the right of the Crawford boxes.
I'm going to walk-off home run here on Saturday.
Can you imagine his first of the regular season? First walk-off home run. Of course, he had the big one for the Cardinals when they beat the Rangers, managed by Ron Washington.
Yeah, that was a big one. They need him 15 and 29 when he's out of the lineup. Looked at the, I'm sure you did too, Ray, where the Angels are in offensive numbers, and it's almost shocking.
Yeah.
With just having Trout and Pujols. But they are 13th in the league in total run score. They're second to last in stolen bases. They're last in doubles. They're last in on-base percentage. They're last in average. And they're second to the last in slugging. How can you be second to the last in slugging when you got a guy with 40 homers and a guy with 37?
And the guy standing next.
And Calhoun's got 24.
Exactly. He was standing next to Pujols.
It's very hard to figure out, but they've been better lately, but still for the whole season. The third fewest runs scored in the American League.
Hard to believe.
But maybe starting to swing it at the right time. Oh, 0-2 to Freeze. Just pops off the glove. It's a foul tip.
Kind of strange. Brian Anderson went after it, looked back to the umpire, and almost as if he didn't think the ball had been fouled. And Actually, if the catcher, you catch the ball, or I think you're going to catch it, then he's running after it, and then look back. Mark Carlson said foul ball. Just off the catcher's mitt. Tough to handle the foul tips.
Victorino to follow. It shifted well to right center, and as Ray said, Freese does hit the ball that way well.
The thing that Dubront does do a lot of, and that's pitch slowly. He does not. He's not get him and throw him type guy.
He's not.
He takes a little bit of extra time. We saw him with the Blue Jays.
Close pitch. We'll say deliberate. How about that? Does that sound like a good word to you?
And the skipper, if he has Brian Anderson on that one, that one's right down the middle. And at least from the dugout, you can see north and south, up and down. You cannot tell inside or outside.
And a good downer there as Freese swings over top, 85 miles an hour, and it just kind of bottomed out.
Well, a good battle. Freese fouled off some, and then just that hard cutter, and watch it drop right there.
So now Victorino steps up. And the first pitch to Victorino is a strike. There's the pitch usage for Dubront. He likes the cutter. Do you think, Ray, if you're a left-handed starter nowadays, you almost have to have a cutter?
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, it's
cutter,
it's such
slider,
a great
yeah.
pitch. Or,
Yeah.
something similar to that. Into the glove, Valencia across the diamond, double play. So Dubront will take it, and nothing for the Angels in the second. Third inning coming up. It's 1-0 Athletics. Nice and comfortable. We always like to see the A's fans down here in Anaheim, and there's usually quite a few of them. Not a real big crowd tonight.
You know, the one we do not see, and I want to send along our condolences to John Blumen Odom's wife Maureen passed away, and
It's very sad.
yeah, he's back in Georgia, and I did talk to him following the unfortunate death of his wife, who we were always sitting behind the first base dugout.
Earlier this year.
Yeah, they were down there, and we'd always see them down behind the dugout. And Blue Moon, I talked to him, and he said he was going to be in Georgia during this period of time when the A's were here. So he is not here, but our condolences to Blue Moon and the family. Kind of an unexpected passing.
Yeah, that was very sad.
Yeah.
She was always right in the front row with Blue Moon, and she was from Wisconsin, so we always had a nice chat when we saw each other, fellow cheeseheads.
So you're putting yourself in that category of a cheesehead finally. All these years you finally admitted it.
Yeah.
It's because you finally got to go to Milwaukee and Miller Park.
That's right. That's right. That's all you need to do. Have a broad at Miller Park and you're official. Santiago with a good fastball, and it's 1-2 to Canna, followed by Laurie and Valencia here in the third. Santiago all over the place in the first inning, but then had a second inning 3 up, 3 down.
Hard to believe at this level that a pitcher could lose the control as quickly as Santiago on that 31st, and tonight lost in the first inning, but has regained it, pitching much better now. But the one thing I always say that you should be able to throw a fastball for a strike anytime you want to.
Yeah, you would think.
Well, Santiago is proof that it's not necessarily the case. And Tim Hudson probably was thinking the same thing on Saturday at the Coliseum when he lost the strike zone in the second inning.
Canna hits a high pop up to shallow right toward the line. And Calhoun is under it, 1 out.
2016 ticket plans are on sale right now. Get on board early with 2016 priority seating and choose your exact seating location for next season. The A's offer a variety of full and partial season plans that qualify for great benefits, including half-price parking, flexible ticket exchange program, and more. For more information, call 510-638-GO-A's or visit athletics.com/2016. That man with the number 6 on his back, definitely looking forward to 2016. Bob Melvin is. It's been a tough season for the A's skipper after 3 consecutive years going to postseason with the A's. He is looking forward to spring training and a new 2016, and knowing that all these things that have happened on the negative side for the A's in 2015 will turn to be positive next year.
1-1 to Laurie, who reached on a fielder's choice in the first inning. Just a little bit low. So 48 pitches already for Santiago. Pitch is low, and now it's 3-1. Sonny Gray will not pitch on Wednesday, and I don't think Sonny Gray is going to pitch again this year. So his final numbers 14-7 with a 2.73 ERA. So a very fine season for Sonny Gray. He was an all-star. He just needed a little more help in the rotation, unfortunately.
Well, I figure the guys, I mean, it's hard to believe that whenever the A's finish this season, they will not have one starter in the rotation that started the season in the rotation. So we saw Kendall Graveman at the Coliseum, Jesse Hahn. Jesse Chavez is with the club, lives down here in Southern California, so you want to make sure he's with the team here. Barry Zito.
Yep, he's going to get the nod. He was announced that earlier today, so that's something to look forward to. Get a start right here at the Big A. Fastball, 91 miles an hour. So a second strikeout. So Sonny Gray's final start was that Friday start against the Giants.
Struggled in the first inning, gave up a 2-run home run following a walk, and then after that settled down, get nothing. It's almost as if he realized that Stephen Vogt was back behind the plate and he could throw the hard slider. But Stephen caught the 3 games, including our starting with Sonny Gray on Friday, and then Barry Zito on Saturday, and yesterday's series finale. Give Stephen Vogt a lot of credit because it had been very easy for him to say, oh, just going to shut it down, not going to catch anymore, but he wants to catch. Couldn't catch a lot last year because of a foot injury. And this year. Became an all-star with his catching and hitting. And at least we'll be able to go to the offseason a week from today knowing that he's been back behind the plate. And the magnet has been released. No more magnet on Stephen Vogt to attract all the baseballs.
Right at freeze. Rocket shot by Valencia and throw across the diamond. So 7 in a row retired by Hector Santiago. Bottom of the third coming up. Ianetta's going to lead it off. It's 1-0 A's. A's 1, Angels nothing. Bottom of the third. Felix Dubron to face Iannetta, Giovitella, and then the top of the order, Eric Ibar. He's got a run in the first. Iannetta swings at the first pitch, fouls it back, hitting 188 with 10 homers, 33 RBIs.
Amazing the number of walks that he has drawn in his career with the Angels.
Yep.
I guess you could say he helps his pitchers frame pitches into the strike zone and takes pitches out of the strike zone to be able to walk as much as he does. But had a big walk-off home run last year against, I think it was Pomeranz here at the Big A. Pomeranz pitched in back-to-back games.
A little bit low, 2-1. Did he go? And they will check. And Trip Gibson will say no.
Looked like a pretty good strike, even without swinging.
So 3-1 to Iannetta. Cues that one toward the A's dugout. Full count. Dubron has a couple of strikeouts and a walk in the first 2 innings. Friends but rivals. That's what it looks like.
You see how they spelled rivals? One red, one green, one red, one green.
They spent a lot of time on that. And Dubron walks Iannetta. So here's our Ford right choice. We'll go back to yesterday and what was a very cool moment with Mark Mulder in town, and of course Barry Zito for the Athletics, Tim Hudson for the Giants, and they threw out ceremonial first pitch. All 3 of them did.
Okay, guys.
And you really got the feeling that all 3 of them enjoyed the weekend. They maybe weren't happy with their performances, but in Hudson and Zito. We had a nice talk with Mark Mulder during the game. It was fun to hear his side of the big 3. Giovitella steps in, and the first pitch called a strike. So 0-1 the count to the second baseman for the Angels, back in the lineup. He was having some vision problems. Anderson with a nice block.
Yeah, it's kind of scary. And talking to him, he said it's his right eye, and he said it was like a nerve behind the right eye that just affected it to the point that double vision, everything blurry. And he said, I didn't think I was going to be able to come back at all. I mean, that's scary whenever you start dealing with the eyes, something that's very important as a baseball player, but happened about a month. He said it was double vision, said he's kind of cross-eyed, and then all of a sudden it went away. Everything was fine.
That one's hit well to right center. That could be trouble, and it is trouble. Bounces off the wall. Ionetta's going to be waved home. The throw is over the cutoff man, and Ionetta will score, and Giovitella with an RBI triple.
I guess he's seeing okay. Hurt the A's back in the early part of the season, and this fastball left out over the plate to right center, and Gary DiSarcina was holding up Ionetta initially, and this is why he's sitting. And Billy Burns played to carry him off the wall and actually missed it, and that's why Giovitella was able to go to third, and Ionetta was being able to be sent. He hesitated there. Double RBI.
So it is an error. Is that what was said, Brian? So it's a double RBI and an error.
Error.
Okay. Because Ionetta was initially going to Valencia foul ball.
He should never have fielded the ball, even take a chance with it, let it go foul. It was foul, but here's the error with the ball coming off. Now at this point, Ionetta was being held, and when Billy Burns dropped it, Giovitella actually hesitated around second, but in front of him, I mean, it was pretty clear that DiSarcina was holding him. Then right at the last instant started bringing him once he saw Billy drop the ball. So in reality, probably should have been a double and an E8 with no RBI. And a runner going to third, but Ed Munson, the longtime official scorer, I guess gave him an RBI.
He did give him an RBI, right, Brian? So yeah, double. You're right. You're right, because he was not going to score until the error occurred.
Now let's see right here. He's running to third, and see, slow down, and then DiSarcina went down the line, and he watched. So maybe he didn't slow down that much, but DiSarcina actually started waving him after Billy Burns had dropped the ball. Meanwhile, a leadoff walk scored.
And that one's driven to left center, and that's trouble. And that's going to get down. Bounces off the base of the wall. Giovitella comes in to score, and just like that, the Angels take a 2-1 lead. So back-to-back RBI doubles.
Well, location of the pitches. You start elevating and don't get him in. He had the sharp break down and in on a 3-2 cutter that walked Ionetta to start the inning. And now the cutters are not breaking as sharply.
So Ibar gets his 39th run batted in, and here's Calhoun. Still nobody out here in the second. Gonna make that the third. And Calhoun chases a high fastball. Calhoun with 24 home runs and 80 RBIs this year. 157 hits. He strikes out a lot, 150 strikeouts, but he has become a significant run producer for the Angels.
Well, considering they were depending on Josh Hamilton to play left field, Calhoun and right with Trout in center, pretty productive outfield. So at least they got the production out of Trout, with the 40 home runs. And Calhoun has played very well. He's a very good defender, very strong arm, very accurate. But it's about 10 assists now he's got. So things are looking well from right field standpoint. So between Victorino, David Murphy, David DeJesus, a whole bunch of left fielders trying to fill in the gap. Matt Joyce, can't forget about him. He's back.
Right.
He's been on the disabled list, and he has not put up any kind of numbers.
Breaking ball on 0-2. And Calhoun swings through it out at first. So Calhoun could not make it a productive out.
It's a good block by Brian Anderson, but also after blocking, watch what he does here. Takes the runner back to second, Ibar, and Ibar is very pesky. And you just come up immediately throwing to third or to first, and Ibar, he throws him, sent him back, got his momentum going back to second, and then through to first. So very smart play by Brian Anderson, and making that play and making sure that Ibar was not going to go to third when he threw to first.
So with one out, Trout steps up. Inside corner strike to Trout, who walked in the first inning. Trout's 40 home runs, a career high. Called a strike, crowd didn't like it, and I don't think Trout necessarily agreed with it. But it's 0-2.
He walked on that same pitch 3-2 in the first inning.
Ibar at second with one out. Just the second Angels player to hit 40 home runs in a season. Troy Glaus did it twice, did it in back-to-back seasons. Reggie Jackson, Vladimir Guerrero got close. So that's an interesting note. Runner goes, swing and a miss. Ibar, keep an eye on him as he's jockeying after going to third. He ends up staying at third. So he was moving. He gets a stolen base. Trout ends up striking out.
Trout doesn't swing a lot of bad pitches. That might have been enough to distract him going to third. Breaking ball in the dirt. Trout swung and missed. Meanwhile, Ibar was going to third, and nothing Brian Anderson can do except making sure that he did not come down the line too far.
So give Ibar his 14th steal of the year. 2 outs now, and here's Pujols. First pitch at the knees, first strike.
One of the concerns now, the back-to-back strikeouts, but both times the pitches were in the dirt had to be blocked by Brian Anderson. With Ibar getting to third now, the pitch in the dirt a little bit more critical, and see if Dubron continues to try to throw the breaking ball hard in the dirt.
Laurie, the second baseman, shifted over, playing right behind second base. We've seen Pujols, though, flip the ball to right field a lot in the last couple of years. So Dubron and Anderson make sure they get together. So they are together, and we'll see what they decide to throw to Pujols. 52 pitches for Dubron. Setting up inside. And it's hit sharply. What a play by Laurie. Gets to his feet, throws to first. And nicely done by Brett Laurie. Took a hit and an RBI away from Albert Pujols. But the Angels do get a pair, so we're on to the fourth. It's now the Angels 2 and the A's 1. a Data Strong fan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. It's all brought to you by T-Mobile. Two to one, Angels lead the A's. So Hector Santiago now has a one-run lead as he faces Butler, Smolinski, and Semien. Astros still leading the Mariners 2-1. That's now in the top of the fourth inning. And the Tigers leading the Rangers 7-2 in the bottom of the eighth.
I think the Astros have to be thinking, we're not going to play this poorly all month. I don't think they're going to be the Red Sox of 2011 where they just completely fell apart in September. I mean, they have too good of a ball club. Red Sox also had a good club in 2011, but just did not work out for them. But I think from the Astros standpoint, they have enough veterans, enough guys that everybody fell apart at the same time, and probably feel they can get it back.
Line drive, but right at freeze, one out. Shutdown inning opportunity for Hector Santiago, and he's been very good in those spots. 84% above the league average. So see if he can do it right now. But the Astros, Ray, they will play 3 in Seattle. They'll be off Thursday and then 3 in Arizona. That's how they will finish.
And they're probably going to be cheering over the weekend while the Angels and Rangers are playing in Arlington. Because they'll have to win and then hope that maybe the Angels and Rangers beat up on each other in the 4 games.
Which is not out of the question. The Minnesota Twins, who won, they are in Cleveland for 4, and then they will go home and finish with the Kansas City Royals. Twins will not have a day off. Yankees lost tonight, but they are that #1 wild card right now. They have a fairly comfortable lead. 4.5 coming into today for the #1 wild card spot. They lost to the Red Sox. They will have a 4-game series in Boston and then 3 in Baltimore. So that's the final week for the Yankees. 3-2 to Smolinski. And inside corner, down around the knees, strikeout number 3.
The thing that Santiago's doing right now that we have seen A's left-handed pitchers do the same thing to righties, and that's pitch inside, finish the pitches, and pitch much better. Look where Iannetta sets up. Santiago throws inside corner. Strong believer that if a pitcher, whether right or lefty, can finish his pitches, he's going to be a lot better than trying to aim them to the corners. And Santiago's had problems outside to righties, but he's thrown the fastball inside. It's been very good.
Lowest opponent's average against fastballs. Santiago 4th on the list. And he's got a kind of a little bit of a herky-jerky delivery, and almost looks like he's throwing a lot harder than he really is. Ball kind of jumps at you. It's almost like he's got a quick delivery.
He's always had a good arm, and he kind of drops the leg, and it's a little herky-jerky with the lower part of his body as he delivers the pitch.
To pitch, fouled at the plate. And now he is indeed getting that ball down and in on right-handed hitters. Semien hit a long fly ball to center field in the first inning. That one's hit high and deep to left field. Victorino turns around, and that baby is gone. Semien has tied the game with a home run to left. So number 14 on the year for Marcus Semien. So 2-2 is the score.
His 5th against the left-hander. Kazmir his last one in Houston, and Santiago, the cutter, elevated, and goodbye, because that ball stayed up, and Marcus Semien hit it well into the bullpen of the Angels and ties the ball game. That's a big swing by the A's shortstop on 2 strikes and pulled the hands in nicely. And location again, not exactly where Santiago wanted it. And Marcus, I'm sure it felt like he hit it well enough to get out, but ran hard to first just in case. It ties the game.
So Gentry falls behind in the count, 0-2. Gentry grounded out to the second baseman in the second inning. And Etta sets up outside, and Santiago hits the target, but a little away. 2-2. Gentry getting a start in right field tonight. Been a tough year for Craig Gentry, just never got on track.
Said it's the hardest season of his career.
Yeah.
Understandable. I think anytime anybody at the major league level and spent some quality years here in the big leagues and then gets optioned to AAA, and he's down there pretty much the whole year.
And we've seen enough of Craig Gentry with the A's and against the A's that, I mean, he's a legitimate major league player. Now, maybe not an everyday player,
right,
but as a bench player,
yeah,
very good outfielder with very good speed. Heads up, just below us to our right.
Speed has always been his one of his main attributes. And as the case in his first at bat, Joe Votella makes a diving play, leaves his feet and throws him out instead of a base hit. And you go through years where everything you hit should be a hit, ends up being an out.
Freese cannot pick it up clean. He went for the tough hop on the backhand, and it's going to be an error.
Freese would tell you that the speed of Gentry forced him to make a play that he normally would not be trying to make. Charging and trying to backhand, see how he's trying to set himself up. Watch as he turns, he's setting himself there to catch and throw, could not catch it. And it's given an error. Sometimes the speed of a hitter will dictate what an infield will try to do. In this case, he tried to make a play knowing that of the speed of Gentry.
So a couple of errors in the game by the Angels. Angels now with 85 errors this season. They're sixth in the league in fielding percentage. So a decent defensive team so far this year, at least statistically. A little high to Brian Anderson. So after 2 outs, a home run and then an error.
Cap, if you ever want to know what Brian Anderson looks like without a beard, check the Diamondbacks.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, they've got him up there, just the hair, but no beard. A different person. Look at that.
Oh.
It's like Dustin Ackley when he got traded to the Yankees.
Right.
Shaved his head, his beard.
I didn't recognize
Did not look like him, and he went on the DL.
That's what happened.
That's right. Became a Yankee and had to shave everything.
Bet you cut your hair, you lose your strength, right? There's a story about that.
That's right.
1-1 to Anderson, who hit a fly ball to left field in the second inning. Anderson open, stands off the plate. And it's high, 2-1.
You look at the beard and the hair of Brian Anderson, you think of the 1972 Cincinnati Reds. No facial hair.
And that wasn't happening on that team.
No. The hairs and the squares. The A's had just started to grow the long hair and the mustaches. But the Reds, no. Matter of fact, nobody prior to the A's in '72.
So 2-1 the count. Shift is on for Anderson, and now Gentry runs. Throw to second base is got him. Now see if they may have called him out coming off the bag on the backside of the play. Piccioni circled around to get a look to see if Gentry's hand came off the bag.
He went around the tag, and I think that's exactly right, Cap. As it reached back, looked like Inetta or Ivar missed him. Got him, it was safe there, but then it reached back. And he called him out late, so it must have been on return, trying to get back to the bat.
So they will not challenge, and that's how the inning comes to an end. But Simeon's home run is 14th of the year, and we got a new ball game. It's 2-2 as we go to the bottom of the fourth. C.J. Cron leading it off for the Angels in the bottom of the fourth inning. DuBront's first pitch is outside to Cron, who's singled leading off the second inning. He'll be followed by Freese and Victorino. 2-2 game. Simeon's home run tied it. There's a strike.
Fourth home run Santiago's given up to the A's this year. It's not quite in the King Felix Hernandez. Every time the A's see the Angels, they see Santiago, but pretty close.
DuBront drops that big curveball in there, but it's a little bit low. And now the count even at 2-2. They're in the bottom of the ninth now in Arlington, with the Tigers leading the Rangers 7-2. Line into the seats. So off the advertising panel and then dropping down into the seats. Slowly hit up the third base line. Valencia, bare hands, throws to first. Not in time. Nice play by Valencia, but Crone's going to have an infield hit.
That combination of the third baseman playing deep because of 2 strikes, and also deep because Crone's not a threat to bunt. So the big man got started. Good play, bare hand by Valencia, and just that close to being an out at first, but going able to get down the line quickly enough to get an infield base hit. Figured with a lot closer than it seemed initially, but like it's safe all the way.
So hit number 4 for the Angels, and here's Freese. Freese struck out in the second. Angels got both their runs last inning. Anderson blocked it. It rolled under the feet of Freese.
Right, Anderson low to the ground. He is smothering everything that's in the dirt. And again, great technique. And shred of the mask picks up the baseball. And got him for the 5, blocking in the dirt with the pitches from DeBront, giving DeBront a lot of confidence to let the pitch go and not worry about bouncing it. So far as catcher has done his job.
Short lead for Crone at first. And now 3-0. That's Victorino. He'll be next. DeBront's got to come in, and he does not. Looked like it was right there, but called the ball.
Fans, you can join Jose Canseco, Dave Henderson, and other former A's players for the 2016 Oakland Athletics Fantasy Camp, held from January the 15th to 21st at the A's new spring training facility in Mesa, Arizona. Get out of the stands, onto the field, and create lasting memories with former A's greats. For more details, go to hendersonbaseball.com or call 509-993-7338. You can see JR in a fantasy camp, huh?
John Reynolds, that is always working with us here in Anaheim. Bunted, and it's a good one. Cannon picks it up, throws it to Laurie. Boy, it hugged right on that grass. And a good bunt by Victorino. And then he sacrifices the runners up. So second and third, 1 out.
Not a lot of dirt between the line and the grass, and you're right, it hugged the line. Canna had no choice except to pick up the ball and throw around Victorino and get it. But that's a great job, great technique by Victorino. A very good play by Mark Canna. Good target by Brett Laurie. Now the infield out.
And the hitter is Iannetta. Iannetta holds up on a ball up and away, 1-0. Iannetta led off the third inning with a walk, and then he scored. Shallow center. Burns comes in. Crone tags. Here comes Burns' throw to the plate. Canna's going to cut it off, and he'll throw to third. And Freese is out there. So the run does come in to score. That is Crone. And it ends up being a double play, but the Angels take the lead. So Crone scores. Freese out at third. And we're headed to the fifth. It's now Angels 3, A's 2. Flex Muscle Sports Nutrition. Now with 25 Bay Area locations, come visit our newest stores in Pleasanton and Gilroy. So it's 3-2. Angels lead the A's, top of the fifth inning. Anderson, who was batting when Gentry was thrown out at second base. So he got a half an at bat.
Yeah. Got a chance to see Santiago a little bit better.
That's right. He's extra 3 or 4 pitches to look at.
Maybe trying to figure out strike zone of Mark Carlson. He's been catching and wondering, what is his strike zone?
Shows bunt, and it's 2-1.
They figure they're shifting him. Why not? I mean, I'm sure they have a lot of at-bats for Brian Anderson, and that's pulling Freese in, even with a bag at shortstop.
Hits that one hard. Giovatello dives. He's got it. Throws from his knees, and what a play. So he was out on the outfield grass, and still got to make a pretty long throw after making the diving catch. So great play by Giovatello.
On his knees and did not even bounce it. And that's pretty impressive to have the arm strength to throw from his knees. Ron Harley had to stretch to get to the ball. So maybe the Angels played so poorly in August because Giovatello was not playing.
Yeah.
Missed the month, and they are, 10-19? And the record for the Angels in the month of August.
Well, he's a spark plug. There's no doubt about that. Made an aggressive play yesterday, late in the game. Helped with a single to center field and stretched it into a double with the game tied, and then he scored the go-ahead run.
Yeah, Miller just kind of lobbed the ball back in, and just enough that he just kept running. I always think of Paul Molitor that you mentioned, the Twins manager first year, and he said every single he hit, he thought double. And that's what Giovatello did yesterday and helped the Angels win the game.
And on 3 pitches, Hector Santiago strikes out Burns. So Burns has struck out a couple of times tonight after a first inning single. So 2 away here in the top of the 5th.
Nothing hard in this at bat to Billy Burns.
So 2 walks and 4 strikeouts now for Hector Santiago. Canna goes after the first pitch, and Freese is under it, and Freese has it. So pretty quick inning and a nice defensive play. Hector Santiago comes off the mound. He's got a 3-2 lead after 4.5.
1,000 acres and destroyed more than 800 homes. Help provide relief to victims who suffered significant losses by donating through the AIDS Community Fund at athletics.com/fire. Every dollar collected will be donated to disaster relief funds. Donate now at athletics.com/FIRE. And we hope you do to help those who fall victim to the horrible fires throughout Northern California.
Bottom of the 5th inning, it's 3-2 Angels over the A's. Giovitella, Ibar, and Calhoun against Dubron. First pitch, swing and a miss. Bottom of the 5th in Seattle, the Astros still leading the Mariners 2-1. Giovitella hits it hard, but Laurie on the backhand throws in time.
And that's the play we've talked about. You backhand it instead of trying to get in front of it. We've seen Laurie attempt to get in front of the ball like that, kind of tangled up his feet a little bit, but that ball is hit hard to his right, just a little backhand, and then just set yourself up to throw. And this is perfect technique. See how he's able to get his footwork, take a little crow hop, strong throw. Mr. Giovitella by plenty. Try to circle around too quickly on a hard hit ball like that. It makes it a little bit more difficult.
So Ibar, leading in the leadoff spot, has doubled in a run. That was in the 3rd. Also stole the bag in that inning. Taps this one to Valencia, who's playing in, and Valencia across the diamond. So 2 quick outs here for Felix Dubron. The Red Sox beat the Yankees tonight 5-1 at Yankee Stadium. Interesting note. Young left-hander for the Red Sox, Eduardo Rodriguez. Now, Eduardo Rodriguez came over in the Miller trade last year. Remember, the Red Sox had Miller, Andrew Miller, the left-hander, and they traded him. Rodriguez, the first Red Sox left-handed pitcher to beat the Yankees 3 times in a single season since Babe Ruth in 1917. First Red Sox left-hander to beat the Yankees 3 times in a season. That's amazing. That
is amazing.
And he's a rookie.
A rookie, an amazing stat from the Wizard.
Eduardo Rodriguez.
The Wizard. That is Brian, the Wizard. Vinny, he works with Vinny, and Vinny said, it's not just Brian anymore, it's the Wizard.
Yeah, he is the Wizard. We're honored to have Brian with us when we're here in Anaheim. Vinny lets us have Brian. We appreciate that from the Hall of Fame within Scully.
If we got a Wizard with us, we're good. And BI, don't take it personally. BI, of course, with us up in Oakland Coliseum. BI, we always appreciate all the great information from BI. But in Anaheim, it's Brian, the Wizard.
So Brian's nickname is the Wizard. BI's nickname is BI. Brilliant information is what it stands for.
Yeah, it's better than somebody said bogus information.
No.
I like the brilliant part. Brilliant information. What a miss, bro. Yeah, I'm going to miss him, yeah. Our last game with him yesterday.
No question. Two and one to Calhoun. Dubron looking for his first 3 up, 3 down inning. About to throw pitch number 75. And here it is to Calhoun. Curve just a bit high. Calhoun has struck out twice, both times swinging against Dubron. Lefty kicks and deals, and that one's hit hard, but to Canna, who fields it, hustles to the bag, and Dubron gets the 3-up, 3-down inning. 3 ground ball outs. So we're headed to the 6th from the Big A. 3-2 Angels. Brew, keep it smooth. So it's the top of the 6th inning, and the Angels with a 3-2 lead over the A's. Laurie to lead it off. So that's a final. The Tigers beat the Rangers 7-4. The Rangers scored a couple of runs in the bottom of the 9th, but came up well short. So a major opportunity for the Angels and the Astros. How about that?
And with the Rangers game 2 hours ahead of the game here, as well as the one in Seattle. So those games, that score posted already in Texas for the Angels to see it. Of course, the Mariners are hosting the Astros up in Seattle.
So interesting stuff as this ball game just got even a little bit more interesting. Yep. So the Angels now 2.5 back. Astros 2 back. Astros still winning 2-1 in the 6th in Seattle. Oh, and that hit Laurie. And he'll trot to first base. Seems to be okay.
Inside target, and if he can take Ventura's fastball off the left elbow the way he did, this is nothing. This man flipped his bat to first base, head to first base dugout.
No problem.
Nope.
So here's Valencia. So a leadoff base runner for the Athletics. That's the second hitter that Canna has hit. Remember, he hit.
Santiago hit Canna.
He hit Canna, excuse me, in the first, and now Laurie in the 6th.
Although Canna didn't feel it the way Laurie just felt that one, and I think it's one of those bloused uniform or slightly on the elbow pad.
High to center, playable for Trout. So Trout grabs it. So, I don't know if anybody saw this, but watch what happens in the dugout. Bryce Harper trots to first. Jonathan Papelbon didn't like it, so Papelbon calls Harper out. Harper doesn't like what he's hearing. Now watch this. Wow. I don't even know what to think about that. Papelbon was suspended for the rest of the year. Harper and Papelbon said, you know what, my bad, shouldn't have did it. But if things haven't gone bad already for the Nationals, who were picked by a lot of people to win the World Series, and they're loaded with talent, but they just have not had a very good year, then that happens.
You know, and what's unfortunate, what Bryce Harper did is done too much in baseball.
No question.
And that is, you hit a fly ball and you're upset and you don't run hard, and you hope if you run it that the ball doesn't drop because you're embarrassed by standing at first base. But that's just probably Papelbon and the frustration of the Nationals coming to a head. And Matt Williams, their manager, said it's in-house, we'll deal with it. But, you know, if it's going to be done, don't do it in front of everybody. Where we just showed it tonight, and it's gone all over baseball, all over the country. You know, those things can be handled in the clubhouse or in the runway. Let him walk down the runway or say, hey, I need to talk to you.
Hit well to right center. Trout going back, and it is off the top of the wall. And here comes Laurie, and they will hold him. Butler hustling to second, and Butler's got a double. And the A's are in business here in the sixth. Second and third, one out.
Well, Butler looking to right field, and I don't know if he thought maybe the ball hit up over and came back, but he hit it well. And Brett Laurie, with just one out, had to make sure. But Butler, that great swing going opposite field to right center field. Trout, anything close to him, you figure it did hit below the yellow line, so it was in play. So Butler able to get to second, and Brett Laurie hustling all the way to third, but had to be held.
So here's that opportunity again, Ray. Runner at third, in this case second and third, with one out, and Smolinski the hitter.
Crone even with the bag, as is the case with Freese at third, and up the middle. They're giving the A's the run.
Driven to right. Calhoun goes back. He's got it. Laurie tags. And Laurie will score. And Butler goes to third. And we're tied at 3. So Smolinski goes after the first pitch. Deep enough for a sacrifice fly.
Well, that's called staying back, and really they talk about it closing up the front side to make sure you don't roll over. Ball inside on him, but I tell you, watch Calhoun's throw. This is why this young man can throw and has 10 assists. This throw all the way to the plate. Laurie had to bust it and run hard to get there, so the strong throw by Calhoun, the only thing he really did was allow Billy Butler to get to third, which is a big 90 feet for him. Seeing if Butler tagged too quickly. But Calhoun tied for 8th in the outfield assist, but I think with his arm, his reputation probably prevents
fewer opportunities.
Yeah, exactly. That was Alvarez, the lefty, warming up. Is it somebody else, JR, warming up beside?
And that's going to do it. So 5 2/3 innings.
Oh, Kobe Rasmus.
And you got a lefty and a righty, and it'll be Rasmus coming in. So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. It's your oil change, tune-up, and repair experts.
For games at Hohokam Park have been announced. Enjoy a first-class experience. Get an early glimpse of next year's squad, which is going to be a lot better, at the A's all-new spring training venue in Mesa, Arizona. For more information, visit athletics.com/spring today. And looking forward to the spring. And yes, it will be. Although this past spring, the A's had a phenomenal record.
They did.
22 wins and figured everything is going to be good. So
it was a good scene in Mesa this year.
Yeah, great facility, both the main field for the games and the practice facility. So that was good. And this inning is good as the A's have tied it and have a chance to take the lead with Corey Rasmus, Kobe's brother.
So Santiago goes 5 2/3, and Rasmus' job is to get Semien. Go-ahead run is at third. First pitch, slider down and away.
Santiago can't win it, but he can lose it. Eight pitches for the left-hander.
Same pitch, outside, 2-0.
Good takes by Marcus Semien, and again, he's just going to get better and better taking those pitches that are running away from him.
Semien's home run in the fourth, 14th of the year. Missed again. Now it's 3-0.
And from Santiago, and he hit it, and hit it well with a 2-strike pitch. The A's bullpen.
Pitch right in there for a strike. Took a little off on 3-1, and that's a pretty good 3-1 pitch. Probably a good thing that Semien didn't swing at it, because he's probably geared toward fastball. And watch this pitch at 84 miles an hour. Just dropped right in there.
Floats in, back door.
(3-2), and it's high. Good at bat by Semien. Sure, Semien's thinking about being aggressive, trying to get a run home, but ends up with the walk.
Going to be a pinch hitter for Gentry. Coco Crisp. But Rasmus to Semien went slider, 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 fastball, changeup, fastball. And his best pitch was a 3-1. Yes. And you throw it great 3-1, you think he's going to be looking 3-2. Nope. So the A's trying to plate the go-ahead run.
And it'll be up to Coco, the pinch hitter. So he's going to hit for Gentry.
Coco, you're still in the lead. Roll it down.
So here comes Mike Scioscia, and he's going to the left-hander.
Got to turn him around.
So Alvarez coming in to face Coco Crisp. So Rasmus faces one hitter. He's gone. We'll be back. 10 for the home opener against the Ducks. The home of authentic Sharks fans is CSN California. So he's back. Playing the Ducks at home. If they were playing the Ducks down here in Anaheim, they'd be right over there.
That's right.
But they're not. They're playing them at the Shark Tank. It's a 3-3 game. The A's a chance to take the lead. They tied it here in the 6th. And Coco Crisp is going to hit from the right side against Jose Alvarez.
It's all about numbers, Kai. It's all about numbers. Switch hitter. How does he hit against righties versus lefties? And so that was the deciding factor for Mike Scioscia as he perused his matchups.
So there's the numbers for the lefty Alvarez. 60th appearance. And he's got one job to do. That's to get Coco Crisp. Rasmus faces just one hitter and walks him. First pitch off speed. Coco way out front. Simeon inches off, and the pitch is outside. It all started with Laurie being hit by a pitch, and he scored.
It was a 2-strike pitch.
That's
also.
right, it was.
Yeah, fastball way off the plate.
Close pitch. Coco takes it, and it's a ball.
A strike. Pitch down a little bit. Of course, brought up as usual by Ionetta, the catcher, and holding it.
And Coco ahead in the count 2-1. Little flare right field. It's going to fall for a hit. Butler scores. Simeon to third, and he is out.
Wow.
So Simeon out. The run does score. So Coco comes through with the pinch hit RBI single. And the A's now have a 4-3 lead. Bob Melvin's checking on it.
No, it's a strong throw. Calhoun with the throw to the right. Yeah, they got
So
it.
they will not challenge, and he was indeed out, but the A's score twice. So bottom of the 6th coming up, 4-3 Athletics lead.
Butler. This was called really a fly ball to the 8th, but Billy Burns coming down the line. A missed throw by Freeze, and then back to the plate. He's out by plenty, but a missed throw by Crone. Jim Vitello with an opposite field double. And that would play to run. And especially as Iannetta scored from first, and Marcus Semien would hit a home run, a big home run to tie the ball game. Angels would retake the lead with Iannetta coming up, and a fly ball to center field, a tag, and then a cut and throw to third base. The run scored before the out at third, and then Jake Smolinski would tie the game. Strong throw to home by Calhoun, but Laurie, who led off the inning, being hit. And then Coco Chris pinch hitting a bloop to right field. That would score Billy Butler from third base, giving the A's a 4-3 lead. But Marcus Semien thrown out at third by Calhoun. And after he makes the throw, I'm going to tell you something. You can find out what's possible with AT&T. Call 1-800-PIG. AT&T mobilizing your world.
I think that's the most highlights you've ever done, and it was good. I mean, I was locked in. Smolinski goes to right. Coco stays in the game. He's in left.
Well, Trout was out on the first pitch. I'd be willing just to stop and let that play develop and get the throw out on the first pitch.
You're a veteran TV broadcaster.
Yeah.
There's Pujols, who takes a strike.
After you take the lead, and all of a sudden you're facing 3, 4, 5 in the batting order of the Angels.
Pujols tonight has grounded out a couple of times. Laurie took a hit away from him. And this one's belted left center, and 4-4 game.
So he had to be happy that Mike Trout made an out on one pitch.
Well, the big fella goes deep for his 38th home run this year.
He should have hit that out. That pitch is right down the middle. Right down the middle. Ground out to the pitcher on 3-0. Ground out, hard hit ball to Brett Laurie, and then, oh wow.
Thrown to left. Coco's back at the wall. Got it. Two outs. So career home run number 558 for Pujols. Now 5 away from Reggie Jackson. Reggie 13th on the all-time home run list. So a 4-4 game. And David Freese steps in with 2 outs. First pitch to Freese is low. That game in Seattle, the Mariners tied it in the bottom of the 6th on a Marte home run, 2-2, but the Astros scored a run in the 7th, and the Astros have the lead back 3-2. So good ball game there. Rangers lost 7-4 at home to the Tigers. Just looked up and saw the Chicago Cubs won and the Royals nothing. Must have been a makeup game, huh? Unless the scoreboard's on. You see that up on the right side of the scoreboard. Freeze. Did he hold up? Yes.
Well, they're in the same Central Division, American and National.
Yeah. I didn't see that on the schedule.
Yeah,
and
right.
It was in Chicago. Freeze shoots one foul. Actually, you know what though, Ray? That was it's interesting. The Royals are on the schedule are playing the White Sox Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It must have been a makeup game. Freeze takes it high.
Venditti, the switch pitcher, starts to get loose. Scott Emerson, bullpen coach, his first year in that capacity. Good job for Emo.
And the walk. So Freeze walks for the second time. So DuBrant now has walked 4 and struck out 4. Trying to get through the 6th. Kurt Young's going to come on out and check on DuBrant.
Yeah, for Albert Pujols, I remember reading something and confirmed his 90th run batted in 14th time. And he's driven at least 90 in a season. 14th time. Guys are happy to do that a couple times. He's done it 14. So 90 runs batted in, 14th time in his career. 4th player all time with at least 14 90 RBI seasons, including Hank Aaron 16, Babe Ruth 14, Alex Rodriguez 14. Albert's the first to do so on 14 of his first 15 seasons. Quite a career for King Albert. And a home run, number 38 to tie this game.
So here's Victorino, 0 for 1. First pitch is low. So the pitch count for DuBrant now at 89. There's a strike call. Victorino had a sacrifice bunt in the 4th inning, and it put runners at 2nd and 3rd, and then Iannetta had a sacrifice fly. So it turned out to be an important sacrifice bunt.
Yep.
DuBrant misses inside. Vendetti's been out there a while, so he should be ready. Toward left, and that'll do it. And Coco takes care of it. A home run by Albert Pujols, career home run number 558. We're tied at 4 after 6. Your strongest fan photo to CSNCA Data Strong Fan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. It's brought to you by T-Mobile. Our fan photo tonight is from Tiffany Gatehouse, and that is Logan Gatehouse showing his support for the green and gold. Disneyland just up the street. Still going strong. About time for those end of the day fireworks.
15 minutes.
Is it?
Yeah, 9:30 every day.
How'd you know that? You've been there recently.
No, just look out the hotel when we get in early enough, and as we did last night. I heard them, but I didn't see them. My room is not positioned where I could see them, but definitely could hear the explosion at 9:30.
Up the middle, and that's a base hit. So Brian Anderson goes after the first pitch from Alvarez and shoots it right up the middle.
Well, and it gets a lefty and jumping on the pitch, which was a high fastball. And the shift to the right, ball up the middle.
So leadoff man aboard, and now the top of the order in Burns. So good start for the A's here in the 7th inning. Burns has singled and scored, and then he has struck out twice. First 3 at bats were against Santiago.
Camadrojan, the right-hander.
And the Angels are going to need all of their relievers to come up big, because
that's right.
Ray mentioned earlier, Houston Street is out, and he's not going to pitch this week, and don't know when he's going to pitch. A serious groin injury, and Joe Smith has an ankle injury, and he's out. And it doesn't. Street's definitely out, and Joe Smith didn't sound like he was going to pitch this final week either. So that's their setup man and their closer. So the bullpen has done a decent job recently, but boy, you're missing 2 guys like that. This is the Street injury, and again, it's a groin injury.
He's going to cover third and left groin. Did an MRI, and they're hopeful that the grade 1, which he's hopeful being able to participate in postseason if they make it, but definitely not regular season.
But when you see that and you see him come off, it's hard to imagine that if the Angels were to make the postseason, that he would be ready to go next week.
Well, especially, I mean, if they won the division, then they wouldn't play until what, the week from Friday?
Thursday or Friday.
Thursday, Friday. So they got Thursday. So they'd have a little bit extra time with the division series, or the play in for the wild card. It would be a week from tomorrow. 40 saves for Houston Street. It's a big piece to be missing.
Burns fouls it straight back. Count stays 1-2. Canada follow. Well, Pujols' home run in the bottom of the 6th tied this game up. Short lead by Anderson at first, and it's outside. So 2-2 the count. Burns rolls it toward first. Cron tags the bag, throws wide of second, and Anderson's going to be safe. So Cron made the right decision. He was right next to the bag, so he just stepped on it, but his throw pulled Ibar well off the bag.
And you're right, he did not have to hurry either. He just grabbed it and threw it, and Rod Anderson wasn't even halfway to second, so he could have stopped, taken a little better angle and throw to second, and the throw could have gotten him easily. Like Scioscia asked Iannetta. That's how, what's he pointing at? He wants him to take a look, or actually to visit with his pitcher because he wants to see if his right hand is Bedrosian is warmed up, which he should be. Mark Canha hit a 3-run home run off Alvarez at the Coliseum on the 31st, which happened to be the first left-handed or home run against a left-handed pitcher. A little surprised that he's staying with the lefty to face Canha, but maybe the numbers show also that Canha hits right-handers as well, if not better. Majority of his home runs against the right-handers.
Inside corner strike. Canha has been hit by a pitch. He's hit a fly ball to right field, and he has fouled out to third. Anderson, the runner at second. Foul tip. And now it's 0-2. Breakdown.
And that's probably why he left him in, because Mike Scioscia has all those notes. And I think the biggest thing about Mark Canha, he's had a great season in his first year, but 13 of the 15 have come against right-handed pitchers.
So Canha will try to battle back from an 0-2 count. Gio Vitella trying to keep Anderson, the runner, close. This is the home run Ray was talking about.
August 31st, Coliseum, fastball gone. First 3-run home run. First home run against a lefty since Scott Kazmir. But what a season for Mark Canha. And that's one of the bright spots of this 2015 season. Rule 5. Talking to Mike Paul, who's scouting for the Colorado Rockies, and he basically said we Rule 5 him to be able to trade him to the A's. Said thank you, because he's had a great season for the Athletics. And back home and enjoying life in the Bay Area.
Strike 3 called on the inside corner. Alvarez planted it. That's where Iannetta wanted it. And that's the second out.
And now he's going to the righty, and boy, it has to be those numbers, the 13 home runs against righties, and decided to stay with the lefty, and perfectly thrown fastball inside, according to Mark Carson, home plate umpire, and Alvarez nailed it on the inside corner. Mark Canha didn't think so.
So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune Up, your oil change, tune up, and repair expert. Bedrosian coming in.
California is brought to you by Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places. And by Xfinity, home of the most live sports.
So the A's trying to break the 4-4 tie here in the 7th inning. The Go-ahead run is at second base. So Laurie will hit, and the new pitcher is Cam Bedrosian, who's making his 31st appearance. So Jose Alvarez goes an inning, gives up a couple of hits. So see if Laurie can come through. He has reached on a fielder's choice. He has struck out, and then he was hit by a pitch and scored. First pitch is high. Felix Dubron. 6 innings so far. Outside corner a strike. So Bedrosian, pitcher number 4 so far tonight.
4-seam fastball outside corner. Got the call.
Line drive, but it's foul. Laurie going the other way. This fan made the play. Of course he did. And he's a gentleman. Of course he is. We're in the green and gold.
Amongst a bunch of Angel fans. A real gentleman.
I wouldn't mess with him.
I was going to say, it looks like he can take care of himself.
He's fine. Yeah. Laurie lays off, so now the count is even at 2-2.
Staying with the fastballs, all fastballs so far, first 4.
And he got him swinging and went with a breaking ball, and it was a pretty good pitch. So Bedrosian strands Anderson at second. 7th inning stretch coming up from Anaheim. We got a 4-4 game. Ball game for the Athletics. Really, the games this weekend were all close, even though Saturday was a little crazy, but still back and forth. Another one tonight here in Anaheim. So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change, tune-up, and repair experts, as Fernando Rodriguez comes in for appearance number 54. So Felix Dubron, 6 innings. His night is through. And Ionetta's going to lead it off, followed by Gio Vitella and Ibar. 8, 9, and 1 in the Angels lineup. So Dubron goes 6 innings, 4 runs, all earned, and he throws 92 pitches. Top of the 8th inning in Seattle. Astros 3, Mariners 2. First pitch to Ionetta is just a bit outside. Ionetta walked and scored in the 3rd and had a sacrifice fly in the 4th. So he's had a productive offensive night from the bottom of the order. Swings at a ball.
Yeah, his walk leading off the 3rd inning. Started the Angels scoring 2 runs in that inning, and on a 3-2 pitch, pretty close, but did not go Dubron's way. 4 walks by Felix tonight, only 1 scored.
Good fastball there by Rodriguez in under the hands. So another 1-run game, or it could be. We're tied, but the A's 18 and 33 in 1-run games. Angels 32 and 16.
You brought up something this afternoon that I was a little surprised. You threw out a number of the Toronto Blue Jays who are.
Well, it's kind of part of the argument of, are 1-run games a true indicator of whether you're a good team or a bad team? And I don't know that they always are, to be honest with you. There are some numbers that back it up. The Toronto Blue Jays, who I believe they
5 up now.
Yeah, they got the best record in the American League. Well, the Toronto Blue Jays, and this is just one example, they're 14 and 27 in 1-run games, which is horrible.
27 losses and 1 run. Yet
their record is 91 and 65.
Yeah, leading this Eastern Division by 5 games with the Yankees losing and the Blue Jays winning.
So I'm just just looking at the good teams. Kansas City 23 and 16. It's pretty good. 3-2 pitch is popped up foul.
Yeah, it looks like 32 and 18 for the Angels. That's helped them with 14 over 500, or 14 more wins than losses.
So Minnesota 21 and 20. Yankees 23 and 23. Those are 2 possible playoff teams. Texas 26 and 20. Detroit, who's having a terrible year, they're 26 and 19 in 1-run games. Fouled straight back to the screen. So I just don't know that it is an automatic indicator of good teams are going to have good records in 1-run games.
And it makes you wonder also about when you lose a 1-run game, what did you do in the game to contribute to that loss? And I think the A's perfect example yesterday. They gave away 2 runs to the Giants early, and they ended up losing by a run. They could have won by 2, lost by 1. So I think you'd have to look over at all of those games and say, what happened to make it a 1-run game. And of course, a lot of times the A's would come back down several in the 9th inning and score and make it a 1-run game out of Oakland.
Canna's going to run out of room. It's just another one of those baseball statistical discussions that you could have. But the Blue Jays are winning games 8-4 instead of 5-4.
Right. They had a 1-run game yesterday, a walk-off. A home run to win their final home game in the regular season.
Swing and a miss. Breaking ball out of the strike zone. So Ionetta is retired. 1 away here in the bottom of the 7th.
A cut fastball by Fernando Rodriguez just right at the end, thinking fastball. It might have been a curve, but that's a good rotation away from Ionetta. And these are situations where everything to gain, nothing to lose. You throw a breaking ball 3-2, a lot of times you're going to throw it for a strike or get a swing and miss, because the Angels are the one. The A's want to win, but it's the Angels that really have to win to keep their season alive, keep it going.
First pitch to Giovatella is fouled right into the booth next door, the home booth. Let's make sure Victor and Gooby are okay.
Well, Dean's a concern. Dean was the one who was ducking. He's their
the stage manager over there. Dean's probably not going to go up and make the play on the foul ball.
He won't be like Adam. He won't be on the ground and floor like in Houston.
So everybody's okay. That's good. Good curve. And it's 0-2. See, we come to this ballpark 3 times a year. We spend quite a bit of time there. So we know these guys.
Yeah.
We like coming here. Timeout called late.
That's usually a hold with a runner on base, and for some reason Fernando took a long time before he was going to deliver the pitch, almost like he didn't want to throw the pitch that he was thinking about throwing in a sign from his catcher. But Giovatella did ask for time, got it a little bit late, but got it nonetheless.
0-2 pitch is hit in the air to right, hit pretty well, but Smolinski's got plenty of room, and he's got it.
And Johnny Giovatella has 3 home runs on the season. And one that we will never forget about was one that he hit down the left field line here. Now I say left field because see what he did on that fastball. That's his best ball to right field. But you pitch him inside. Remember the Pomeranz home run down the left field line? 3-run home run. I know you don't want to remember it, but I do. But,
I do remember it.
But it was a big home run in a game that he just loaded up and let it go. And you could go down a line to the opposite field. That's what you want hitters to try to do, hit them out the other way. Giovatella is the type of hitter that's not going to hit that many to right field.
This pitch to Ibar is lined toward left. Coco coming in, and Coco makes a nice play. So 3 up, 3 down inning for Fernando Rodriguez, and we're moving to the 8th, 4-4 inning.
Premium. Watch every out-of-market game live on more than 400 supported devices. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widgets, and more. Visit MLB.tv today.
So we got a 4-4 game in the top of the 8th inning.
It's a good way to watch games here at Angel Stadium, the restaurant right above back of home plate, down below us there. People can dine and watch a baseball game.
We're guessing that the food's probably pretty good down there. It's a nice restaurant. Valencia, Butler, and Smolinski here in the 8th. Valencia walk, a ground out, and a fly ball to center. And that one is just above us.
Down there, JR, on the field.
So 1-2. Mahika starts to throw out in the A's bullpen. And for the Angels, that's the hard-throwing youngster Trevor Gott.
He looks like he just throws hard.
Yes.
Just watch him.
He whips it. And Valencia tried to hold up, couldn't do it. Good pitch there by Bedrosian. So 7 strikeouts for Angels pitchers.
Well, back-to-back hitters that Bedrosian has faced, and both times he's gone to the breaking ball 2-2. He got Brett Laurie with a runner at second, and he just got Danny Valencia.
So 1 away, and that'll bring up Butler. Butler, a fly ball to center, a line out, and a double. He doubled and scored in the 6th. Talked about Billy Butler in the open of our show, and the fact that he's having a very good month of September. Driving the ball the other way, and that's what he did in the 6th inning with his double. Hit it off the right field wall. Swings and misses. So Bedrosian got that sharp slider, maybe.
Yeah. And hitters are sitting fastball, and you start your swing. You're thinking fastball. Anything with a wrinkle to it, you just are not able to pick up the spin.
And he lines it foul. Right into the seats. So you see Mahika and Colon. Tried that breaking ball again. This time Butler lays off. Smolinski waiting to hit next. Ball outside corner, strike 3 call. So 4 consecutive A's hitters have struck out.
Now Reddick is going to hit for Smolinski, assuming the right-hander stays in the game. It's a pretty good fastball. Billy Butler, I don't know if he didn't think it was a strike. As he was checking his head, heading back to the dugout, but it looked like a pretty good pitch. Josh Reddick is the pinch hitter.
Batting for James Smolinski, number 22, Josh Reddick.
So Reddick announced, and it looks like Bedrosian will stay in the game. So Reddick steps in. 271 with 20 homers and 76 RBIs. First pitch is low.
Well, there's some great pinch hitters for the A's against the Angels down here. Think of John Jaso coming off the bench and crushing a home run. Jaso's not here, neither is Jepson.
So 2-0 now to Reddick. So he's sitting in a good count. Outfield shifted a little bit toward left center. There's a huge gap in right center. And Reddick to right, and he's got himself a base hit. So pinch hit single for Reddick. He's hitting for Smolinski.
Breaking ball down and in. He just maybe decided to throw the 2-0 breaking pitch instead of a fastball. And thinking about a solo home run. Mike Scioscia, nice job. Hey, good chance to strike out the side.
So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. Get your oil change, tune-up, and repair experts. Priority seating and choose your exact seating location for next season. The A's offer a variety of full and partial season plans that qualify for great benefits, including half-price parking, a flexible ticket exchange program, and more. For more information, call 510-638-GO-A's or visit athletics.com/2016. 4-4 game, and the Angels about to use pitcher number 5 tonight. It's Trevor Gott, who's done a very nice job. 44 games, 3.2 is his record, 3.07 the ERA. So he'll face Simeon with 2 outs. Reddick had the pinch hit single. He's at first. Astros are batting in the top of the 9th inning in Seattle, with the Astros leading that game 3-2. Astros are very big A's fans tonight.
The Rangers probably are too.
Yep,
everybody's pulling for the A's.
Rangers lost earlier. So here's Simeon, who homered earlier. He homered in the 4th inning, a solo shot. And it tied the game at 2.
Well, his only other multi-home run game came against the best in the league, Felix Hernandez.
There's a strike running in that Simeon.
This is what he did against Hector Santiago. Did it well, especially the pitch up in the zone with 2 strikes, and just reacted with a couple of strikes, not really overpowering, trying to hit a home run. That's usually what happens when you just take a nice, easy swing.
Simeon has also walked and hit a fly ball to center field. Drives one down the right field line, but it's going to head into the seats. So it's been Santiago, Rasmus, Alvarez, Bedrosian, and now Gott. For the A's, it's just Dubron and Rodriguez. Reddick with good speed at first. Outfield playing very, very deep. Slider well off the plate. Nick Trout playing about, looks like about 10-12 feet from the warning track in center field.
This would be no doubles in because Mike Trout has kind of forced himself to play a little bit more shallow. And that's why those catches he's making robbing home runs are really special, because he's not playing deep and then going back and making the catches. Full out run to get to the ball.
He's not cheating back at all.
No, he does not break back. He with his speed, he can rob hits in front, and we know what he can do, jumping and robbing home runs.
2-2 pitches. Hit right to Ibar, who goes to second for the outside, retired. Bottom of the 8th coming up. It's the Athletics 4, and it's the Angels 4. 4-6-1 for the A's, 4-5-2 for the Angels. Dubron went 6 innings, gave up 4 earned runs, and Simeon has a home run. Hector Santiago pitched into the 6th inning. Albert Pujols with career home run number 558. So good ball game tonight as the Angels come to bat here in the bottom of the 8th inning. So Bob Melvin checking the lineup sheet. Got everybody's name on it. Keeps it in his back pocket. And he's going to go with Daniel Coulombe here in the bottom of the 8th. The Coulombe, his 12th appearance, and he will face Calhoun, Trout, and Pujols here in the 8th. So Reddick, as expected, after pinch hitting, stays in the game in right field. Calhoun, couple of strikeouts and a ground out. First pitch, swings through a slider and misses it. So really it's the big three in the Angels lineup. Lots of power potential.
And you have to figure one batter appearance by Coleman, considering who's to follow the three right-handers. That is Mojica.
And he's ready. That one drops down and away. Good take by Calhoun. Calhoun delivers, and that one up and out over the plate, fouled into the press box. So Rodriguez, a good inning. He pitches the seventh. Doesn't give up any hits, and has a strikeout. So now full count.
This is his only batter. This has got to be trying to get him out because Mojica's going to face the heart of the batting order. And Mike Scioscia has done by putting Trout, Pujols, and Cron freeze 4 consecutive right-handers, unlike what guys do. Managers will alternate, and that's why Venditti becomes so important, because he being a switch pitcher.
Good rip there by Calhoun, right back to the screen. So Calhoun now steps back in. And he taps this one, and it is fair. Canna has it, steps on the bag, and that's out number 1. Not sure Canna was even sure it was a fair ball. He turned around and looked at Tripp Gibson, the first base umpire, who said it's fair. So we got a pitching change. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune Up, your oil change, tune up, and repair experts.
Presented by authority of the Oakland Athletics and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Athletics Investment Group, LLC.
Hey, if you're looking for the best coverage of Oakland A's baseball, log on to csncalifornia.com as our A's insider Joe Stiglich continues to provide wire-to-wire reporting for this season with breaking news, video, special features, and more. It's only on CSN California.
That's where the big hats are. Big hats.
Yeah, right there.
Joe's right out in front. That's Angel Stadium. Where he's out in front, he got the big hats, big heads.
About the big hats.
I think one of those hats Kevin Mensch wore when he was with the Rangers.
Really?
Size 27 head. No, he had a big hat. Over an 8. I think Bruce Bochy's got an 8+, doesn't he?
So Mahika comes in, and he's going to face Trout and Pujols. How about that? So Trout steps in, a walk, a strikeout, and a ground out. First pitch to Trout is a little bit outside. Missed again, 2-0, trying to keep it away from Trout. And of course, Trout's got power everywhere. That's
Actually playing right center. Billy Burns way over in right center.
Comes in and gets the corner, and it's 2-1.
Probably in this situation, shading him in right center. If he hits the ball to left center, it's a triple. I mean, his speed is off the charts.
Yeah, Billy Burns is well in the right center.
You look at the gap from center to left center, and Trout is just so strong. Opposite field, yes, and if they pitch him that way, you figure he'll go to right field.
Got a good rip there, fouls it into the upper deck. Pujols in the on-deck circle. Trout with 40 home runs, Pujols with 38. Outside, and now it's a full count. Mahika, pitcher number 4 tonight for Bob Melvin. And that one's hit high in the air, right center. As Burns is under it, he waits, he's got it, 2 outs. So Trout put a good swing on it, just got underneath it a little bit. So 2 outs here in the 8th inning, and that'll bring up big Albert Pujols, who's got a couple of home runs in his career against Mahika.
Remember that grand slam he hit down the left field line at the Coliseum?
Was that Mahika?
That was Mahika. It threw a splitter, and it split all the way down the left field line, and it was
it split
a
all
bullet.
right.
I think that was the 7-run inning capped by his grand slam. The A's, Sonny Gray, lead in that game, ended up losing, I think, 12-7.
First pitch is a strike.
You know, there are times 2 outs, and you know, C.J. Cron's doing great. Freeze is doing great. Albert Pujols, he can make a mistake, and sometimes you pitch carefully, even with nobody on base. I mean, 2 outs in an inning, make him hit your pitch.
This one's popped up. Canna may have a play, and he will. Mahika gets Trout and Pujols, and the side is retired. We're going to the 9th inning, and this ball game is tied at 4.
A's baseball is with MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Enjoy the live look-ins, highlights, replay reviews, score, statcasts, live radio broadcasts, and more. Get the MLB.com at bat now, right now. Be a good one to get to finish out the season and go down to the shopping and get a Mike Trout jersey if you're in Anaheim, because they have a bunch of them, I'm sure.
So top of the ninth, it's 4-4. As Trevor Gott stays out there. Crisp, Anderson, and Burns. First pitch is a strike. Coco had a pinch hit RBI single in the 6th inning. And that one rattles off one of those sweets down low.
Uh-oh, lost a beverage.
And another broken net.
Well, the most important thing is the phone. Have the phone sitting out there just in case somebody calls to let you know, make sure the beverage and the phone are off the rail so the screen doesn't. It's not going to stop them.
Trevor Gott came in and got the final out in the top of the 8th. He got Marcus Simeon. Doolittle's getting ready. Coco hits it up the middle. Ibar can't get it, and it's a leadoff single here in the 9th. So Coco's 2 for 2.
Oh, yesterday afternoon, Coco Crisp reached base with 2 outs in the 9th inning against Santiago Casilla. It's a base hit up the middle of the 9th inning. That was in the 9th inning, and the skipper, Bob Melvin, the A's trailing by a run. He thought that Coco was going to steal second, Billy Burns was going to drive him in, and the A's were going to win the game. That did not happen, as Burns ended up striking out in that game yesterday, the final out. So we'll see what Brian Anderson does, see what Coco does, as he is leading off the 9th in a tie game with a base hit.
Anderson is 1 for 3. He singled in the 7th inning. He shows bunt. Freeze trots in. Coco with his lead. Anderson bunts at 5.
Just square around, get yourself up. You kind of jabbed at the ball and got a very good attempt. Right now is to sacrifice and get the runner in scoring position.
So see if the bunt stays on. Outfield slid over toward left center. Anderson did not square early that time. So the count 0-1. Burns to follow. Bunted, and that's a good bunt. Freeze picks it up with his bare hand and throws out Anderson. He just dropped it down there perfectly.
He's going to get a lot of handshakes for that.
That was a good bunt.
That was outstanding. After jabbing at the first one and boy, just laid down a perfect sacrifice. Yeah, that is a great job. Now maybe you got 37 players. You got a lot of handshakes, man.
Yep, a lot of high fives.
Great bunt though. Third base, the only play. Square around, laid it down perfectly. So Steve Scarsoni, the manager of the AAA Nashville Sounds, in town with the Athletics. He had Brian Anderson as his catcher throughout the season. He's got to be very happy to say, I taught him that.
He
Got the
did.
job done.
First First pitch to Burns is hit towards second. Giovatello has it. So big out there as Burns swinging early.
Now Coco didn't go to third. That's a smart play because there's Steve Scarsone, the manager of the AAA Nashville team, is in Sacramento, has been managing the A's organization, former major league infielder. But when you have an infield playing in, and because of the speed of Billy Burns, it is not a guarantee that a ball hit to the right side, the runner's going to advance to third. And Coco started, Giovatello's looking right at him, and Giovatello would have gone to third, and that would have been a runner at first and an out at third. Unless Coco could have gotten a run down. So smart play on his part, not trying to advance on the ground ball.
So it's up to Canna. First pitch, just a bit outside.
Well, I'd just like to see a base hit to right field by Canna. They're playing him to pull so much, giving him the whole right side of the infield, and Mark Canna has shot several that direction. And they're pitching him outside to do it.
Chops this one. Freeze has it. Across the diamond, and he kept his foot on the bag. Did C.J. Cron. Side retired. So Coco was stranded. Bottom of the ninth coming up. We got a 4-4 game. Coming up tonight at 10:30 on our sister station Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area. A full report from Warriors Media Day, a full report on the Raiders' big win, and a full report on Colin Kaepernick's play in the 49ers loss. Med Fried and Dave Feldman will host. Bottom of the ninth from the Big A, and it is 4-4. Mahika got two big outs, Trout and Pujols in the eighth. His first pitch to Cron in the ninth is a strike. Cron, Freeze, Victorino. Cron swings at a pitch in the dirt. Cron is 2 for 3 tonight, 2 singles and a run scored.
He guessed incorrectly on that second pitch, which is a breaking ball. Thought it was a fastball. He was going for the downs on a pitch in the dirt.
And he lines it to center on an 0-2 pitch, and he's got a base hit.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Make a pitch in the dirt and then give him a pitch that he can hit in center field. Wow. Colin Cowgill is going to pinch run for Cron.
So Cowgill in, and here's Freeze. Winning run is at first, nobody out. Freeze, a strikeout, and then a couple of walks. First pitch, a strike. Astros won 3-2 in Seattle. Huge win for Houston. 3 runs. They hit 3 home runs. Springer, Gaddis, and Carter. What a surprise.
That's how they do it.
So the Rangers lose, Astros win. Astros are a game and a half behind Texas now in the West. And it's 0-2. So that's updated, folks. So you see the Astros and the Angels in the division and then in the wild card. So the Angels need to win to just keep pace with the Astros. If they lose, they'll be a game and a half back.
But that 0-2 again, pitch right down the middle. He's got a split. He's not throwing it. I mean, split. At least they have a chance to get it down and maybe end up in the dirt. Brian Anderson doing a good job so far tonight blocking pitches in the dirt.
And the runner goes, and it's hit foul, and that one was right out over the plate.
Well, the good news about that one is the fact that it was close enough that Freeze had to swing. Calgary got a running start. Mojica was not caring anything about him, almost reverting to his closer days when closers typically don't have good moves. Have to at least stop the runner.
So see what Cowgill does this time. There's his lead. Not going, and Freeze taps it up the third base line. Mojica barehands his throw. It hits Freeze. Cowgill's going to go to third. The ball goes in the dugout. Freeze is going to go to second, and there's nobody out. Just a swinging bunt. He couldn't have laid it out there any better. Mojica picked it up and he just threw it into the runner.
Well, there's not much anything Mark Canha could do. He's waiting for the throw and in two and hit the runner. And once it rolled into the dugout, that was it. Of course, Mojica had the hamstring injury, but this one, you know, you could say fortunately the ball hit the runner. Otherwise, Calgill's probably going to score. It's going to go down the right field line. It's going to be an error all the way on.
So no hit at all. So each team now has made a couple of errors in this game. But that one was costly.
Yeah.
So second and third, nobody out for Victorino, and obviously infield is going to be in, and the outfield is going to come in.
And they're going to put Victorino on base and look for a force at any base, which is the smart thing to do.
You know what we need here, Ray?
1, 2, 3 double play, right?
We need Jerry Blevins.
Remember? Yeah, that's right. Oh, yes, you're right.
I don't know that it was the bases were loaded, but maybe they were.
Yeah, it's right here. Yeah,
it was here.
Yeah,
Jerry. He did one of the great Houdini acts of the last 4 or 5 years.
And these guys probably don't know who Houdini was, you know, but I mean he's referenced many times, and this is another Houdini act. Thing is, Mojica can get a strikeout, but it'd be more of a 1, 2, 3 double play that you'd like to see.
Well, the hitter will be Iannetta.
Or not. Yeah.
Nope. Iannetta's being called back. It's going to be Murphy.
David Murphy's going to pinch hit. A free swinging David Murphy. Miller point of the plate, which, yes, you have to go to the plate right now. This is a crucial situation. Bob Melvin's going to discuss it. So Fernando Bond, the left-hander, is warming up. Bob Melvin wanted to make sure it was Murphy being announced.
All right, so we're going to have lefty on lefty with the game on the line. Of Anaheim. It'll be Chris Bassett and Nick Tropiano. Our coverage begins at 6:30 with A's pregame live, and then of course complete A's coverage every night on Sportsnet Central and CSNCalifornia.com. Home of A's baseball is CSN, so that's tomorrow night, game 2 of the series. And right now the A's are backed up against the wall about as far as you can go. Bases loaded, nobody out in the bottom of the 9th of a tie game. Angels needing to win to keep pace with the Astros and a chance to pick up a game on the first place Texas Rangers. So Abad will face Murphy. Cowgill at third, Freeze at second, Victorino at first. So the crowd on its feet, over 31,000 in the house. And the first pitch, just a bit outside. The numbers for Murphy came over in a midseason trade from the Cleveland Indians. 28th of July, that trade was made. Not close, 2-0.
Well, you get the point that you don't throw a strike. First two, Murphy can just stand there and force him to throw at least one. And then see what happens after that. This has to be a strike.
And it was. So Abad pours it in there, 2-1. Outfield very shallow. Hit back to the screen, 2-2.
He reached for it like he's protecting the 2 strikes, and the count was 2-1. And
it would have been ball 3.
Yep. It's just, that's a protecting swing. That's not an aggressive swing.
Gio Vitella is the on-deck hitter. 2-2 pitch. Down the left field line, but foul. A fastball at 92 miles an hour. Two, base hit, ball game's over. So the Angels win their 6th consecutive game. They absolutely had to win it, and they did. The David Murphy base hit here in the bottom of the 9th inning. So Murphy gets his 7th career walk-off hit, and it's a big one. So the Angels pick up a game on the first-place Texas Rangers, and for the Athletics, they have now lost 8 out of their last 9. So 5-4 is your final. Took 3 hours and 22 minutes in front of 31,858. So a walk-off win for the Angels. 5-4 is your final. You've been watching A's Baseball on CSN California, part of the NBC Sports Group. Don't go away. A's Postgame Live with Brody Brazil and Pip Roberts starts right now.